how do you rename a sender or receiver component in an SAP PIPO system? This is really relevant if you're doing S4 migrations and set up a new landscape, and I should be able to switch back and forth between these systems. Here I'll show you how you can use the Figaf tool to automate this. So here we have an ICO. This is using this ERP D as a receiver. We have some mappings or no mappings on this, and we also have a normal ICO that is using this. In here we have the tool, and what we can do is we can select this ICO and say, okay, we want to transport these two ICOs, one where this is the receiver and one where it is the sender. We will assign this to a ticket, call it something, demo renaming. We will select the landscape, and here we will select this ERPD or rename on the same system, so it's just a transport. You can also use a lot of this functionality if you're transporting from one system to another. We'll add a DIR number so we know what's going on here. And obviously right now I'm just using 2 objects, but obviously you can use a lot more. We'll attach all the dependent objects, and we can see that there are something that is denied. This is all the function libraries, because this does not make sense when you're transporting locally. If you wanted to transport to 2 different systems, it would be a different matter. But we can limit this. We can also limit transport of objects, etc. Cool. We will start a transport now, and this will just start the transport process for these specific objects. We can open the object here. Here we can see the different components we have, and if we look at this component that is called ERPD, we can see here we have gone in and we have created a renapping of this from the old to the new one. So this will be something you'll do once to highlight that this system needs to be migrated to this system, and we can see it already exists on the system. We can see the communication channels. Let's see here, rest. This is not going to change. So obviously we have 2 communication channels. We have here one that's called CPI test. This is changed to another one. We can go in and see all the different attributes of this one and make modifications if we want to change the poll interval on some of these objects. All of these different attributes can obviously be accessed here and changed. So right now I can validate the transport. I can see everything's correct, and we can see the valid up here. We can look at the changes overview to understand what is actually the changes that is going to be applied here. And here we can see that in this ICO we would be deleting this system, and then we'll create a new S4 rule on the routing, and then on the output we're also adding some new rules. And there's an RFC lookup here that is also being used. We can see these objects here is also relevant, and there's a non-empty password for this scenario. If we want to look at the parameters, we could also look at all the different parameters that exist in this system across the landscape. So what are the sender receiver named objects here that is going to be used? And here we can see we have this adapter that's going to be changed to this with this parameter. So really a lot of data to give you insight about what's happening here. Now I can send it to approval. And as an approver, I still have the same option to compare these things. I can compare ICOs to see what is expected changes of these ones. So for ICOs, sometimes this is a better one, but most of the time this overview is a better one. We can approve it. Good. Maybe you need some better text for this. And now it is all done. I can set it to import. I will select do not activate just to show that it is actually creating a change list. And this will just take a few seconds to run. So now we have a change list. If we go to my change list here, select changes, and I look at the one here from this, we can see we have one issue up here. We can see that we now have an ERP communication channel here. It is. Yeah, so obviously we cannot open them here because they are not really created yet. We can just see that they are going to be changed. So if we activate it, so we can overtake it, but that is not a bit difficult. And we can also see what is actually being changed and what is not being changed here. What is skipped. So now we have imported this change. So if we go back to our ERP system and look at this S4 component and see where used on this, we can now see it is used in two ICOs. One where it is in the resending part, all the other objects has been copied, including bindings, channels, etc. And on the receiving side, it is also, or if I still had it open, I would imagine that's the reason. So now we can see it has been changed here. So with this, you can see it is really easy to make modifications to objects, change them and make sure that it is all relevant, updated, and then you can do the test. If you then need for some reason to roll back, you just click on roll back. All these changes will be erased and the old condition will be applied. Obviously, with some limitations, you cannot roll back forever, these kind of things. I hope you can see the benefits and improvements of this, making it a lot easier for you to do S4 journeys, roadmaps, and this functionality also makes transports a lot easier. If you just want to transport part of an ICO, etc., then that is also a relevant scenario here. But I hope you saw the power of how much you can actually do with something like this. Thank you.